Cayley store is well known to many people. It's especially for people who live in Sulby, who shop there all the time. But I think a lot of people know it as the shop at the crossroads at Sulby on the TT course. And it's a very traditional store, and the sorts of people who go in there are great Manx people who live their lives in the community of Sulby. And it was an idea which was given to us by Neil Corlett, who does a lot of camera work for us. He suggested we go in and film it, and it sounded like a very good idea. And so we went along for a morning back in November and filmed these people and their stories who made the shop another home for a few minutes each day, which was just lovely to be there.
And the characters that go in there, it's wonderful. And we will hear a bit from it shortly. And as you say, it celebrates that changing face of the Isle of Man, and that's something that you're doing in an ongoing project at the minute. A lot of people will know Cayley's store because of, well, its namesake really, Raymond Cayley, who of course we sadly lost last year. Wonderful to know that the store itself wasn't lost when Raymond went.
Exactly, it's a lovely store, and he passed it on to Graham, with whom he worked for so many years, and it's a lovely gesture, I think, by Raymond to pass on the gauntlet, as it were, to Graham, to keep on doing this good work of holding a shop together, but also holding, in some sense, a community together, which was really, really lovely to see it still existing. And all the voices in the video express something of this, how grateful they are for this place at the centre of their world, where they can be a part of Sulby in some sense, and it's just wonderful to see and be a part of.
It really is. And Kirree, you yourself actually knew Raymond quite well, didn't you?
I did. I was very fortunate to meet him, and he was a real character. And himself, and like I say, my partner Dan Sale, the banter that they would have back and forward it was just so fun. But he was like that with everybody that came in, and he was just so kind. And it's nice now that it's still been able to continue. But Dan always says there's a bit of a difference between the north and the south, in the fact that the north are a lot more community orientated, a lot more closeness, and the south possibly is a little bit more commercial. And he really does enjoy going into the shop for a natter and not necessarily buying anything, but have a good laugh.
And I think that seems to be something that's carrying on with Graham as well, isn't it, James? And that people are still sort of going in there, even just, and you hear it in the film, you know, there's a chap who says, I come in every morning, even if I'm just saying hello, I just come in to get the skeet. And I think that's one of the things that places like this are brilliant for, is, you know, okay, you could say sort of sharing local gossip, but it's also passing stories on, isn't it?
It's very much binding together. These people who go through here are bound to each other and others from the community, and they have a sense of almost like this anchor at the centre of their village, which makes them a Sulby person.